Hello, it's me, Kyron. Thank you so much for joining me for yet another video. So, as you know, there's a panoramic happening right now, and that means it's sometimes difficult for us to get new programming. Like, there are new TV shows and new movies coming out, but it's not as frequently as we would like. Like, new episodes of shows that we really like are taking really long to come out, or they have to take breaks, or whatever. So, I found myself rewatching shows that I really enjoyed. And that's been a really rewarding experience. One of those shows is the underrated werewolf supernatural show, Bitten. Like, I watched the first 3 seasons on Netflix. Well, there are only 3 seasons, but I watched the 3 seasons on Netflix, and I was like, oh, I really loved this show. And as soon as it finished, the algorithm, of course, sent me a show that was similar. And a show that's similar to Bitten was Supernatural, which I kind of always knew about, but I never actually watched. Which is strange because I've been watching everything on the CW for half my life now. Um, there are very few things on the CW that I haven't watched. Like, I was there when Gossip Girl blew up. I was there when they moved on to doing more like superhero programming. So like I watched all of Arrow. I still watch Flash. I watched Supergirl. I watch all of these things. But something about Supernatural always felt like it was not for me, even though it fit the CW formula, which is just like the casting department in the CW. They definitely know the assignment. Like, they get some good looking people, they put them on a show, and they just go from there. Like, the casting department, chef's kiss. Like, they always know the assignment. And I suppose I should have liked Supernatural more just on the basis of being able to look at Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles every week. But something about the show always felt aggressively straight, male, white. Like, I don't know, something, I don't know what it was. It just felt like it was a show that was not for me. And I just never got into it. In fact, I'm partial to supernatural shows. I watch lots of things like Wynonna Earp, True Blood, the original Charmed and the current Charmed, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Lost Girl. If there's a witch in it, if there's some type of supernatural thing in it, I'll probably watch it. For the purposes of this video, there are gonna be spoilers mostly for seasons 1 to 5, and as I continue this essay, you'll see why. Supernatural is about Sam and Dean Winchester, hunters who were trained to be killers of mythological and supernatural creatures, like vampires, werewolves, evil witches, or even gods. They became hunters because when Dean was a toddler and Sam was a baby, their mother was murdered by a demon that had broken into their house and was standing over baby Sam. The demon promptly murders her, and their father becomes obsessed with trying to hunt the demon that killed his wife, and he raises his sons to be hunters. At the start of the show, Sam has gotten out of hunting and has gone off to college with intentions of becoming a lawyer and eventually getting a wife, kids, and a white picket fence. But his mundane life is disrupted by his older brother Dean, who continues to hunt with their father. Dean says that their dad went missing on a hunt, so he wants Sam's help to find their father. But when Sam's girlfriend is murdered in the same way as his mother, he decides to get back into the hunting life to avenge his mother and his girlfriend, while also trying to find their missing father. It was a really good pilot. Like, it set everything up for the season, and actually for the first 5 seasons. It was a wonderful pilot, and I really enjoyed it, and it had me pumped to see where things would go. There is like a slight problem with the way they fridged 2 women in the pilot episode. I don't know if you're familiar with fridging. Fridging is when female characters are killed off in order to motivate male characters or to further the plot. Like, it motivates male characters to do things. It's been around for a while. It happens in comics, it happens in movies, it happens in TV shows. Think about how many times, like, a female character, a female love interest is murdered, and that it is what motivates the guy to do something to further the plot. So it's a little problematic. I had to wrap my head around the sheer number of Case of the Week episodes, but that was a convention of the time. The original Charmed and Buffy, for example, did similar things. There would be overarching storylines or a big bad, but most of the seasons were made up of Monsters of the Week. And, like all great shows that have a Monster of the Week format, those episodes are often opportunities to put characters in complicated situations that help you to get to know them better, force them to grow, and do a bit of world building. The first 5 seasons of Supernatural are high-key amazing, and I think got better and better from season to season. We learned so many things about Sam and Dean and their greater role in the universe of Supernatural. I won't summarize everything that happened in the first 5 seasons or even beyond it, but like, needless to say, a lot happens on that show. Like, the plot of Supernatural is dense, the world building is wonderful. Like, I can't put into words how good, especially the first 5 seasons of Supernatural are. Up to this point, it felt like the show was about Sam and Dean Winchester and their roles in the complicated, overarching conflict involving heaven, hell, angels, demons, and the absentee god. There was also considerable setup and payoff of 5 seasons worth of storytelling. We found out who killed the boy's mother and Sam's girlfriend. Throughout the first season, Sam seems to have psychic abilities, and we find out why. We learn that not only Sam is special, but Dean is special as well, because he is meant to be a vessel for the Archangel Michael. Essentially, our boys, they have a destiny with a capital D. And the first 5 seasons really sets that up so well, and why they are so important to everything that's happening on the show. At the end of season 5, Sam is possessed by Lucifer, and Sam and Dean's secret third brother Adam is possessed by the Archangel Michael after Dean decides not to allow Michael into his body. So with Lucifer inside of Sam and Michael inside of Adam, they're supposed to fight and the apocalypse is supposed to occur. But Sam and Adam are both sucked into hell and the apocalypse is averted. Dean, of course, misses his brother, who he absolutely loves. I mean, he should have missed Adam a little bit, even though he didn't grow up with Adam, but still, he knew Adam was his brother. Anyway, that's a side point. He misses Sam, but he moves on with his life and goes on to live like a normal life with a former lover of his, and he gets to be normal. To me, this should have been the natural end of the show, because the story that was about Sam and Dean and their role in this huge supernatural conflict has come to an end. But because the show was so popular, the CW decided to renew it for a 6th season, and a 7th, and an 8th, and a 9th, and a 10th, and an 11th, and a 12th, and the 13th, and the 14th, and finally a 15th. It felt like the show had to escalate the conflicts, and the show became less and less about Sam and Dean and their role in this cosmic situation happening around them, and it was more them reacting to bad things that were happening around them, which I felt took away a lot of the agency. And that's because the story that was about Sam and Dean was told in seasons 1 to 5. So everything from season 6 to 15, they weren't really about Sam and Dean anymore. None of the other seasons ever caught the magic of those first 5, which were built around the boys and their role in the universe. Boys who found themselves at the center of something much bigger than they could have ever thought, and boys who rose to the occasion. Like I said, the story wasn't really about Sam and Dean anymore. So I was watching it, and like the plot mattered, of course, because things did matter and things did affect Sam and Dean. But I was really only watching because I really like Sam and Dean. Well, I really like Dean. But that's a topic for another video. I'll never tell anyone that Supernatural jumped the shark after season 5, because it didn't. There were lots of wonderful things that happened after season 5, but I do think that was when the show peaked. I think some shows often outstay their welcome. Everything doesn't need a season 2, or in this case, a seasons 6 to 15. But that's just my opinion. Like, you may feel differently. If you do feel differently, tell me why. Tell me what seasons or what storylines in seasons 6 to 15 were really good to you. If you've never seen this show, I hope this introduction to what happens encourages you to watch, because as I said, I can't tell you everything that happened on that show. It's like, the plot is so dense, but it is worth the watch. Even season 6 to 15, like, there are still really good things in season 6 to 15. So I do recommend this show, like, highly. Like, absolutely watch it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm hoping to maybe make another video after this that would, like, sum up some of my random thoughts about Supernatural, some of the things that I liked or I didn't like. Yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and please come again. Bye bye.